there, I'm Rebecca with IGN.
We're on a Japanese train.
And I'm on a Japanese train, so I probably shouldn't shout. I'm here with David Jaumandreu, who is the studio and game director of Denshattack. David, hi.
Hello, thanks a lot for having us here in Japanese train.
So we're here to talk about Denshattack because Denshattack is a game about trains. It's like Tony Hawk with trains. David, can you just give me a brief pitch as to what this game is?
Just to say it, like Tony Hawk with Japanese trains. So it's all about like riding trains really fast throughout Japan and performing tricks like using like the landscape, the cities, etc., as if it were a skate park.
Oh my gosh. So David, your studio is based in Barcelona. So how did we end up on Japanese trains specifically?
So we actually were like really lucky that we've been traveling here since the late 90s, and like Japan has been a country that has inspired us like a lot, like a whole lot, like from its very, very beautiful scenery to its super interesting culture, its modern pop culture, and of course like the railway system. Like the railway system here is like a whole other thing. So it kind of makes sense. We've been developing like 3D platformers recently. We were like thinking about the next game that we're gonna do. I was actually playing with a Japanese train model that I have as it were a finger skate. And I thought like, whoa, it wouldn't be cool like if trains could like, you know, grind, 360, etc. And the idea that came like a little bit like stupid little nonsense. We started like developing it and thinking how you could like work the controls around it. So start prototyping, it made sense.
You told me a really cool story earlier about coming to Japan with your father and falling in love with Japan and falling in love with trains specifically. Tell me a little bit more about what's so special about them.
Japanese people take a lot of pride in their trains, and it shows. Like it's not only the aesthetics, which they are like really, really cool, really flashy, and their regions, like the different regions have their different train models, and I mean they put a lot of effort into making them different, flashy, looking nice. But it's also like how well the railway system works here. Like they're always on time, frequency is super high, and even if you get like to the most remote place in Japan, you probably can reach it in trains. So even like in the less populated areas, etc., like the train services go sharply to the time, and they reach like these very, very local places. It kind of like all brings like all the country together. And it shows them like you can go to one place to another safely by train and on time. And yeah, that blew my mind away when I came here. And of course, they also have like the super high-speed train that now in Spain we also have it, but like back in the late 90s, it was like looking into the future. And they had that since like the mid-60s, which is like, wow, incredible.
The way you describe it just blows my mind.
It's a whole different thing. Like it's going like super fast, but in a very, very quiet environment, and that moves very little, and like it's super sophisticated. It's super comfortable. You get a lot of like space, and it feels great.
So you have these little model trains, and you're kind of playing around with them, and that turns into the idea for this game. What was the pitch for the rest of your studio?
It's Tony Hawk, but with Japanese trains. That was the internal pitch, like the first reaction from the rest of the team was like, this is nonsense, right? I was like, no, because you think if you do this and do that, and it's like, okay, this can be fun. So we kind of started prototyping, and it was like, yeah, this is the game that we want to make. And yeah, it's not only like around the mechanics, etc., but like the whole setting that the country gives you, like traveling from like the southern lands of Kyushu to the whole cold north of Hokkaido. Like you get like so many different sceneries, so many very skateable places if you want, very nice places. The setting with the idea, it kind of all came together.
And it's not just doing cool tricks as a train, right? Like there's a story, and there's boss battles, and there's all this other stuff going on. Say more about that.
We kind of thought all about it like a very character-centric story, very much based like in shonen anime. So it's a story about self-growth, about family, about like meeting cool rivals and trying to get better to beat them, and then getting them forming part of your gang. So yeah, it's a story about self-growth, about fighting against the system, about finding your place, very much like, yeah, shonen anime.
What are some of the shonen animes that you're really into that maybe inspired this a little bit?
There are a lot. So there's a lot of Dragon Ball, One Piece, as like the main ones that have inspired, especially like eventually throughout the studio, from the older members like myself to the younger ones. There's a lot of Initial D. How we represent like the speed, the onomatopoeias, the vehicles, etc. There's a lot of Akira whenever we represent like domed cities and like this huge, a little bit futuristic metropolis. There's a little bit of air gear, like the skating part. So yeah, there's a lot of here and there. JoJo's for the coolness of the characters. There's tons of references.
Yeah, and when talking about references and inspirations too, the art style, I believe, is based off of some games that people might have heard of before.
Yeah. For the art style, like Jet Set Radio was a huge inspiration. It was like people thought back in the days of the Dreamcast, and it captivated our, I don't know, creativeness, I guess. So it's like a really important title that left a heavy impact. So we took that as a base, and of course, like modern iterations of that style, like the excellent Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, Hi-Fi Rush. So yeah, we've taken all that cool, sharp heads, flat shaded, colorful 3D graphics for all the world, and then taking inspiration also for the characters, presentation, etc., into the Persona series, which is like super cool also.
Oh, yeah. People are going to love hearing that. And my understanding is too that you have a composer on board whose music people might recognize.
Yes, so we have T. Lopez with us, which is an amazing musician. We knew him throughout Sonic Mania. It's amazing work there, and we were thinking about the style of music that we want. We also thought a lot of classic arcade Sega games like Daytona USA, Outrun, etc. That there's a lot going on always. Like all the environments are super nice, and the music is pumping and keeps you up to the play. So T had a lot of relationship with Sega games, and it kind of made sense, like his style. We knew that he would nail it, and unfortunately enough, he was super on board with the game, and yeah, we're super excited to having him on board.
Yeah, because we've named a lot of different games that sort of make up the different components of the ideas in this, but you've also mentioned to me that it's almost a little bit like a rhythm game, which really got me on board.
Yeah. So like the main gameplay, we've divided into kind of two layers of gameplay. So the first layer is what we call like the basic driving, and basic driving basically is avoid derailing, avoid crashing. You gotta kind of to keep adapting to the terrain, like the curves, like if there's any obstacle, etc. And that feels a little bit like a rhythm game, like reading the environment, braking, drifting, accelerating, etc. And that does feel, it has like a rhythmical sense, and that kind of gets you kind of in a flow state. And then on top of that, we put like all the fanciness of the tricking. So the first layer is like making it to the end in time, because we're talking about Japanese trains. And on top of that is about tricking and self-expression and racking up points, comboing, etc.
So this is coming out early spring next year?
Yes.
All right, and what platforms?
It's coming out on PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam, and it's also coming day one Game Pass.
All right, and if people are interested, where should they look for more information?
So, of course, on our Steam page, please wishlist on our Steam page. It's very important for indie developers. And we're having a demo now on the Tokyo Game Show. We'll be releasing new footage with this interview. And yeah, follow us also on social networks.
Well, David, this has been awesome, but I think our stop's coming up, so we should probably get off this train. Thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Thanks a lot for having us.
For more on Denshattack, all things anime, and all things cool video games, keep it right here at IGN.